Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this morning for our very special webinar dedicated to honeymoons and weddings. Jersey is a perfect place to say I do, with romantic castles, stunning beaches, classic vineyards and boutique hotels. This webinar has been designed to share the very best of the island's wedding and honeymoon delights, with insights from wedding experts who can help you plan this very special chapter in your client's life. We look forward to sharing with you today an overview of the most romantic and sunniest spots in the British Isles, and are delighted to have joining us on-island wedding specialist James Robertson, owner and founder of the event shop, who will be telling you all about planning a wedding for your clients. Joining us from the Visit Jersey team is Sarah Barton, Head of Trade, Miriam Jones, Account Manager, and Executive Katie Smith. We will be recording this session, so please feel free to send this to your colleagues after the event. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat box, and we can answer these when we follow up with this recording. Sarah will be starting the webinar with outlining why your clients should choose Jersey when booking their wedding and honeymoon. Over to you, Sarah.
Hi everyone, what a lovely thing to talk about, weddings. I'm going to start by just giving you a quick overview of the island's location, because that's a really key thing for anyone travelling over from the UK. I know we all work in the travel industry, and I'm sure you know where Jersey is, but I just thought I'd cover it off. So Jersey sits 137 kilometres off the south of Britain, and actually just 20 kilometres off the French coast. Travellers don't actually need a passport to or visa to come to the UK unless they're coming from other locations, international locations. If they're coming from UK and Ireland, all they actually need is photographic identification, such as a driver's license. However, I would just caveat that anyone who's traveling by air would just want to check with their travel provider. The time zone is the same as the UK, which is great. So anyone planning a wedding won't have that awful exhaustion of a long journey over to their location of wedding. The plane, sorry, not the train, you can travel by plane. It's only around about an hour from many UK airports. And actually, if someone wants to come and have the freedom of their own car or travel by foot, that's also very easy. They can sail direct from Poole with Condor ferries on the Voyager craft. And also for clients who are looking to book weddings and honeymoons, I mean, it really is the ideal location for this year. It is a place that has some unique venues, some beautiful ocean views. It's closer to home, and it's known as the Sunshine Island on your doorstep, and it's accessible to all. So Jersey is a perfect place to say I do, with romantic castles, stunning beaches, classical vineyards or boutique hotels, and wedding law only requires couples to be resident in Jersey for 72 hours before the ceremony. So I'm going to, at a later point, hand you over to James, who's going to give the much more in-depth detail about the wedding requirements. But before then, if we could just move on to the next slide, Katie. I'd like to just give you a little bit of history about Jersey and its relationship with weddings and honeymoons. Not many of you will probably know, but Jersey was actually known as the original Love Island. It became Love's boomtown in 1946, when hundreds of couples who had postponed marriages until after the war, they decided to take advantage of nearly £200 tax saving that they could get if they got married before the 6th of April. That started to draw couples in, and there was a gentleman called George Frederick Seymour, who actually is one of the largest, at the time, was one of the largest hotel owners on the island. They actually owned 6 hotels on the island. He spotted a real opportunity here in the market and began a campaign to target future couples and turn a trickle of honeymooners into a flood of couples to the island. Jersey soon became known as the honeymoon island, and George Seymour himself had actually originally come to the island himself for a honeymoon back in 1919. So there's a little bit of history there. And it's great to know that we can bring back customers and honeymooners and romantic couples for a great break in Jersey. In the UK alone, this industry is worth approximately 14.7 billion. So it's a massive market. And in a year where there would normally be around about 278,000 weddings, sadly, many couples, as you all know, had to postpone their weddings and their special days, which was really unfortunate. But it means there's probably around 264,000 weddings that were put on hold. So from a travel industry perspective, this means there's a huge number of weddings still to take place. So actually it offers a great opportunity. And you know, particularly one of the reasons why we wanted to showcase Jersey and in this wedding seminar is you probably don't think of Jersey, but for those who are still a little bit cautious about traveling overseas, it really has an appeal for couples who are looking for somewhere a little bit different, but perhaps looking for a wedding that is still closer to home and easy to get guests to, a destination that is familiar, but ever so slightly unique. So we'll move on to the next slide, where I just want to kind of showcase to you some of those reasons why you would travel to Jersey. It's a destination that, for those who haven't been to Jersey before, it has so much to offer. Stunning landscapes, beautiful beaches, historic locations, and also incredibly important for those romantic couples, incredible food. I know James is going to go through all of these areas in a lot more depth, so I won't go into the detail now, but we really do have some amazing wedding locations that you probably never thought about or never considered Jersey as a place for your clients to say, I do. Some of the reasons to get married in Jersey, let me just give you a flavour of those. So, unique range of venues that we have. We've got an amazing unique range of venues across the island. I mean, you could start with somewhere like the Pomme d'Or, a historical hotel where they first announced the liberation of Jersey after the war. This hotel was actually owned by the Seymour family themselves, so they do a number of stunning weddings throughout the year. If you're looking for a heritage location, we have the majestic castle of Montorgueil, one of the best preserved castles in Britain and one of the most striking and attractive sites on the island, with spectacular views across the east coast and across the sea to France. It really creates a breathtaking backdrop for a wedding ceremony and reception. Alternatively, if your clients want to choose a castle at sea, well, we've got that too. Elizabeth Castle sits within the picturesque bay of St Albans, overlooking the south coast of Jersey and completely surrounded by the tides twice a day. So a couple could be transported across from the shore in one of our castle ferries and offered a truly unique experience for you and for them and their guests. Alternatively, we have the tranquil location of La Haute, one of the 10th oldest buildings in the world, actually older than the pyramids. A magical site, rural, peaceful setting and grounds, capped by a grass hill topped by the picturesque 12th century chapel. Civil weddings can be held on the beautiful Victorian veranda in the grounds, and wedding receptions can be held in a marquee in the shade of the mature trees throughout the grounds. And in addition to this, you could choose somewhere like Hampton House. Hampton is a collection of fine traditional Jersey farmhouses. So if you've ever seen a Jersey farmhouse, they're so pretty. They date back to the 17th century and they've been restored to their original beauty. So a great location in the heart of the island's countryside, an idyllic site for a wedding ceremony and reception. And then you have other unique locations such as Lamar Wine Estate, a beautiful 32-acre wine estate. In addition to that, you've got ocean views overlooking the natural beauty of St. Juan's Bay. There's the Atlantic Hotel, the harbour village of St. Alban. There's the Somerville Hotel or the beautiful St. Brolard's Bay, and you can get married at the L'Horizon Hotel and Spa. Also, for those couples who want to get married on a beach, for many of you, you may not again realise that Jersey has some of the most stunning beaches in the UK. And if they feel like digging their toes into the sand during the ceremony with the tranquil, faint sounds of the ebbing tide as a soundtrack, venues such as the Lido, which is a beautiful location just outside of St Helier, can accommodate you to take your vows and away with a breathtaking view. There really is weddings to suit all needs: luxury, religious, small, intimate, and LGBTQ+ weddings. Accessible to all, be kind to yourself and take the stress away. Jersey's the perfect location to bring your guests who are looking for somewhere a little bit unique, somewhere where you can bring your family and friends over for a weekend stay in Jersey, a really stunning location. So let's go on to the next slide. Just briefly, just to touch upon the travel requirements at the moment, and obviously it takes time to plan a wedding. So there will be changes within the border regulations, but Jersey forms part of the common travel area. So open borders with the UK and Ireland. And this means considering it's a domestic travel location. So a short flight from 22 airports in the UK, or as I said before, you can bring a car and travel by ferry. So getting married away, but it's away, but it actually still feels closer to home. The current rules and regulations are very simple. All engaged couples, wedding guests and honeymooners will need to, at the moment, and just please, you know, that is a caveat, at the moment, complete a pre-departure form. A lot can change within the next sort of 6 to 12 months. It depends when they're getting married, but they complete a pre-departure form coming out to Jersey before they arrive on the island, where they'll declare their travel history, and they'll also just confirm if they're vaccinated at the moment. For those fully vaccinated guests arriving in Jersey, whilst a free PCR test is taken on arrival, your customers and those guests who have been fully vaccinated will be free to go out and enjoy the island straight away. For those not vaccinated, there is a short isolation period until they get the results and the negative test results. So just worth kind of knowing that. All the details are available on the Visit Jersey website, which we can share with you. So, you know, if you've got any further details about that, we're happy to answer them in the Q&A, or, you know, we can share a link to the latest travel requirements to the island. Okay, so we just move on to the next slide, and I'm going to introduce you to, well, Katie's already given a brief introduction to James, but James, I'm going to hand over to you, so you can just give us an overview about the event shop and all the fantastic work you do for couples who are looking to get married on the island. So yeah, take it away.
Thank you very much to Katie and Sarah for inviting me on this call today. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. So my name is James Robertson, and I am the founder and owner of the event shop in Jersey, and we specialise in the management and planning of weddings. The massive advantage of using a wedding planner based here in Jersey, particularly with couples who are based in the UK and further abroad, is that we are your eyes and ears on ground here. So couples may not be able to come over until closer to the wedding day, or it may be that they're only able to be here, you know, a couple of times before the wedding. So they can really have peace of mind that they've got someone here in Jersey who's local, who knows the island inside out, will provide, you know, access to the best suppliers, and just make sure that the wedding planning goes as smoothly as if you were actually here present on island. We were lucky enough last year to be awarded a gold award by the Destination and Wedding Honeymoons Abroad Gold Guide for 2020, and we're the only wedding planner in the Channel Islands to receive that accolade. So very excited about that. And if we can look at the next slide, we're going to get into weddings in Jersey in a bit more detail. So why Jersey? For me, Jersey is that destination where you can really have it all. So whether you want to get married in a castle, a manor house, on a rolling lawn, in a marquee, on the beach, overlooking the sea, in a private garden, it really is a really unique venue in that there is all those options available to you, as well as hotel and indoor venues. As Sarah touched on before, the close proximity to the UK makes it fantastic access, you know, both for couples and family to get over here, and, you know, good connections to, you know, further parts of Europe and beyond. And whilst you have your wedding here, there's also fantastic opportunities to enjoy the sights and sounds of Jersey, both before and after. So it's very common with weddings coming into Jersey that They may have activities planned both before the wedding and post-wedding. So whether it could be out in a rib, on the sea, organising barbecues on the Acra hose, team building days, post-wedding lunches. Jersey really gives you that flexibility where you're not just here for the wedding, but you can make it a real experience and add on those fantastic action-packed days either side of the wedding. Next slide, please. So in regards to getting married in Jersey, one of the real benefits of that is that it's a really simple place in terms of lodging your application with the registrar's office here. So in Jersey, you have the office of the superintendent registrar who look after all the marriage applications. And if you have a wedding planner or if you're booking it yourself or for a wedding celebrant, it's a really simple process. So in Jersey, you need to give notice to apply to get married at least 12 months before your actual wedding day. You can't do it any sooner than that. There's some basic documentation that you need to provide, such as long form birth certificates, passports, and utility bills, along with a payment, and then your wedding planner or celebrant will email that into the registrar's office, and then you'll get confirmation back that you've been given approval to get married in Jersey. It's worth bearing in mind that when you do give that application, you will need to have a venue and your ceremony time confirmed, as well as whether you're having a wedding celebrant or religious official, and also their name needs to go on that documentation as well. Once that is approved, the next step is that you need to give your notice to marry, and that is done no earlier than 3 months before your wedding day. And then what that is another very basic form that your wedding planner or celebrant can complete for you. And then the registrar's office will publish the notice to marry, which will be on the gov.je website. And then the final step is 3 to 10 days before your wedding. The couple will need to be on island in person, where they will go into the registrar's office just to complete the final paperwork and make the final payment. And then once that's done, it's counting down the final hours or days until the actual wedding. Next slide, please. So in Jersey, in order to get married, you must use a marriage celebrant. So you're not legally allowed to get married unless you have a civil marriage celebrant or you're choosing a religious official. So on the gov.je website, which Visit Jersey will be able to share the details of on the back of this webinar, there's a list of, we have 15 different wedding celebrants in Jersey. So there's great selection, whether you want, sometimes couples prefer to have a male versus female. So what you can do is you can go on here onto that website, you can read about them, get a bit of background. I always recommend couples to meet at least 2 or 3 wedding celebrants, because that part of the wedding day is very personal. And quite often couples will click with a particular person that they relate to. So rather than just looking at one, it's always great to organise a couple of different meetings, and they can really get a feel for that celebrant. On that website, there's also a list of religious officials in Jersey. So if you're getting married in a church, there's also that option here, which is fantastic. So any type of wedding you can do here. And we'll move on to the next slide, please. So there's probably a couple of key seasons in Jersey. The wedding business over here is very seasonal. So what we call the high season is kind of your core summer season. So kind of around Liberation Day in May right through to the end of September would be what we would call as our high wedding season. Unfortunately, with COVID over the last 2 years, that's completely been decimated. But the positive outlook now with the relaxation of restrictions in Jersey is that 2022 and 2023 are becoming very popular. Couples and wedding planners like myself, we're now able to move forward with plans with a positive outlook that we are going to get a summer season. The advantage of summer season, as you can see in this photo, is that if you are lucky to get a beautiful day like this, this wedding was taken at the Atlantic Hotel, stunning hot, clear blue sky day, and that is one of the benefits of getting married in Jersey during the summer season. The summer season, you really are got to be looking to get your venue and your key supplies booked in at least 12 to 18 months in advance, because there are weekends already next year where it's very limited supply for your top suppliers. So starting that wedding process as soon as possible, locking in your venue, your photographer, your caterer, your florist as kind of your top priorities is definitely the way to go. Next slide, please. So the low season in Jersey essentially falls outside of that. So kind of working from late October round to the kind of that early May. Something that I've really tried to push over here. Not all weddings have to take place in the summer. If you go for a winter wedding, it can be very magical in December. And also, if you're looking at January, February, March, and April, it can also be a very favorable time in terms of getting better rates, flights, accommodation, wedding packages. It can become much more cost effective to look at those quieter shoulder months. And you also do have such a good pick of your top wedding suppliers, because for the key suppliers in Jersey are usually very much booked out during that summer season and have much better availability in the off season. So and Jersey is fantastic in that there's some excellent indoor venues to do some stunning indoor weddings in the off season. Next slide, please. As Sarah's touched on before, there is such a fantastic array of venues in Jersey. This photo here was taken of a private residence in Jersey, which I can get access to. So having a wedding planner has many benefits like that, in that we can get your clients into venues that perhaps aren't publicized online, which makes it very exciting and certainly opens up to some really stunning places. In terms of some of kind of my favorite venues and most popular in Jersey, you've got St. Juan's Manor, which is a historic building surrounded with some stunning gardens and landscape. The manor is actually the oldest one in Jersey, has been in the Malay de Cadere family for almost 900 years. If you perhaps fancy something with a view, then you've got Leyland Racecourse, which is set on the picturesque north coast of Jersey. It's a great venue with a stunning backdrop of Gronay Castle, and on a clear day you can actually see across to the Channel Islands. Huge flexibility in that venue, and that it can take an extremely large capacity of people. If you're looking for something a bit more rural, then perhaps you can look at the Green Hills Country House Hotel, which is located in a very peaceful rural setting, part of the Seymour Hotel Group, dating back to 1674, and it has a really unique blend of luxury, traditional Jersey charm. The marquee companies over here in Marquee Solutions and Vibrant Marquees, which I'll touch on in a section coming up, they have access to exclusive rights to some fantastic manor houses such as Samurai Manor, La Haye Fleury, which is a traditional granite farmhouse located near Roselle. There's a site called Bayview, which has breathtaking, unobstructed panoramic sea views stretching across 5 Mile Beach and St. Juan's. Another one of my favourites is La Haye Manor, which is at St. George's School, a very romantic and peaceful location in the heart of St. Peter, has a stunning rolling green lawn, which provides a perfect backdrop for weddings in Jersey. Next slide, please. So with catering in Jersey, being surrounded by water, fantastic seafood, locally grown beef over here. And the great thing about catering in Jersey is that any options on the table. If you want fine dining, you can have it. If your clients want a traditional 3-course meal, there's some superb outdoor caterers in Jersey, such as Jersey Kitchen, Harper's Catering, niche events. What we're finding now with couples is that they are kind of looking at alternative forms of catering. So it might be barbecues, hog roasts. We're getting pizza companies come in and serving wood-fired pizzas, dessert cuts. Perhaps you're going for more of a festival vibey kind of wedding, and you can get in different kind of food trucks. So your options are plenty in Jersey. Pretty anything that you want, you can get over here, whether it be in a hotel, at a night outside venue. Perhaps you're having a wedding at your home, and you can bring outside catering in there. And then it also extends to drinks as well. So your clients can hire in PIMS vans, bespoke bars. We have buses which are decked out as gin buses. Anything that you want, anything is possible in Jersey. Next slide, please. So photography and videography is, for me, is one of the most key aspects of booking a wedding, because who you decide on to tell the story of your client's wedding is super important. In Jersey, it's very well known over here. We have the likes of Studio M. So we have Matt Porteous, which is a world-renowned photographer. As many of you know, does photos for the royal family. And outside of him, there's local photographers. We have Sophie Darwin. There is Paul Wright Photography. All these details we'll be able to provide you with afterwards. Photography and videography is always one of those ones which I like to prioritize because they're so key. Because with wedding photography and videography is something that lasts with you for many years to come, and something that you can look back on. So it's really something that you want to get it right the first time. And with videographers, lots of very talented ones over here. We have Chantel from Maple Rock Studios. We have the guys at Caves and Creative. They've been groundbreaking in streaming weddings, particularly the last 18 months to family and friends that aren't able to get there. So, for any budget, whether you want to spend a lot of money or not so much, there is something here for your clients. Next slide, please. So in regards to music, the beauty of Jersey is that, you don't need to outsource anything from the UK. Everything is here. You want violinists, guitarists, solo singers, party bands, harpists, trumpets, percussion music. Everything you could possibly imagine is here in Jersey, and they're all fantastic. Whether it is having a singer during the ceremony to do kind of the entrance and the exit songs, and to sing over the signing of the paperwork, an acoustic duo, nice garden marquee to kick things off. DJs over here, there's lots of fantastic DJs who do a lot of the festivals in Jersey. So no matter what your clients' tastes are, there's something here for everyone. Next slide, please. So marquees and equipment in Jersey, there's two main marquees over here. You have Marquee Solutions and Vibrant Marquees. As you can see in the photo, we've got an example of a clear roof marquee over here, which is perfect, particularly in a garden wedding where you can get it set up under the trees with the fairy lights. Just creates a great ambience in the evening. All shapes and sizes. They've got exclusive access to a lot of the venues over here, which they have contracts with. So matter, you want ivory lining, white lining, clear marquees, circle marquees, square marquees, bell tents, circus tents, whatever your client wants, we can make it happen here in Jersey. Next slide, please. Audio and visual is a very important part of the wedding. Often, they look after the sound, lighting, presentations. They can link in videos if your clients have somebody from outside of Jersey that can't actually be here for the wedding. So we have Delta Events and Stage 2 Productions over here in Jersey, who are your two main audio visual companies. No matter how much lighting you want, they're here to support bands, provide technicians. They can light up buildings, lights in the sky, whatever you want. They're here to work with the clients and put on a fantastic audio and visual show. Next slide, please. In regards to wedding suits and dresses, a couple of fantastic suppliers of wedding dress over here. So you have Caroline from the Bridal Boutique, and you also have Anna from Anna Trigg. They're both absolutely lovely and will very happily look after your clients. Your clients can go in for a bespoke wedding fitting, have a glass of champagne, take their mum, take the bridesmaids, make it a really experience, try on some dresses, a glass of bubbly, and I think it just creates a really nice bespoke experience. And then with the gents, whether your grooms want a three-piece, a more bespoke tailored outfit, if they want to hire, if they want to buy off the shelf, lots of fantastic options over here. You know, we have roulette clothing, Voisins, DeGrushis, Redwood menswear, number one in town. So again, we can provide you with all these links, you know, to make it a really smooth process and getting that booked. Next slide, please.
Okay, James, thank you so much. That was really informative and insightful. I think it just showcases how much Jersey has to offer and how we can really deliver a wedding at the best quality wedding possible. There's really, it's a location that's ideal for a wedding, as we said, that's closer to home. But as you can see from the services that are provided by the event shop and the on-island partners, they can make that wedding super special. So I hope that showcased why Jersey is the ideal location for a wedding. It's also a fantastic option for those looking to plan their honeymoon or even a mini moon. You'll be spoilt for choice for romantic settings. I think James has showcased to you and mentioned a number of different locations where you have just amazing settings and beautiful scenery, as well as a wealth of things to see and do. As an island, we're never more than 10 minutes away from the sea, so there's loads of activities to do and enjoy the landscape, whether that's on land or by the sea. There's also an incredible range of culinary options, and food is something that feeds the soul and so important on a honeymoon or or for a wedding. As a small island, we're really famous for our food, and I'm sure you've seen that from some of the things James mentioned. But Jersey's bursting with flavour from an abundance of local produce and rich creamy milk from the Jersey dairy cows, and the seafood straight from the island's clear waters, which is wonderful to enjoy. We've also got an amazing range of places to eat, from beach cafes to chic restaurants. Even farm stalls and village delis are great places to enjoy the local produce. Jersey is packed with amazing eating experiences to add a really authentic local flavour to your client's honeymoon, mini moon, or to their wedding. They just need to bring a healthy appetite. Jersey has a fantastic range of produce, and we're really well known for our big four. That's the local lobsters, the dairy produce, the oysters, and of course the Jersey potatoes. If you're looking for things to do for a romantic getaway, as we've said, there's a wealth of things to do. You could do something like enjoy a champagne and oyster tour. Jersey has some of the largest oyster beds in the UK, and it's a wonderful tour learning about the cultivation of oysters and then just sipping a nice glass of champagne at the end. Or why not enjoy one of the stunning restaurants across the island? The Ocean Restaurant at the Atlantic Hotel is an example, and I think James mentioned the Atlantic Hotel has an amazing setting overlooking St. Juan's Bay, which is an incredible 5-mile stretch of sandy beach. You can combine luxury dining with stunning views, or just take a simple picnic. There's some amazing companies that will make incredibly fresh produce picnics, which you can just sit and enjoy the wonderful beaches and uninterrupted sunset views across the bays. For cuisine that's as seductive as the setting, why not try Jersey's Michelin star restaurant, Bohemia, in the Club Hotel. It's an incredible restaurant and the food will blow you away. So always something to schedule in the diary. Or perhaps just enjoy the magical setting of a window table at the Oyster Box at St. Brelade's Bay. Again, another really stunning beach where you can just look out over the sea setting and enjoy the seafood and oysters. If we go on to the next slide, we'll just be able to run through a couple of other things that your honeymooners or mini-mooners can enjoy. We have a great range of hotels, and a number of them have fantastic spa experiences, from L'Horizon, the Royal Yacht, or Hotel de France as just a few examples. You could do something really special and charter a rib boat. We have some great rib boat trips that go out to the small islands, just sort of 20 minutes from Jersey. Again, they're called Zecchio and the Minkies. But in addition, you could, being so close to France, charter a boat to go over for lunch or dinner. You'll need your passport on this occasion, but it's a wonderful thing to do. Or you could just explore St. Helier, which has some amazing boutique shops, as James mentioned, or incredible eateries, or even venture down to the gin distillery. Or why not enjoy some wine tasting at Lamar Wine Estate? Or there's a gin trail, which you can venture through St. Helier and enjoy a tasting trail in the evening. As we said, you're never more than 10 minutes away from the sea, so visit one of the island's most iconic beaches. And I've mentioned it before, St. Juan's, well known for its surfing. It's an amazing place to go and enjoy the activities of surfing, or just Jersey's Coastal National Park. Or you can unwind at St. Albans Bay, a small fishing village where you can just sit and enjoy a glass of wine. Or why not relax in a boutique hotel? There's some wonderful hotels such as Longville Manor and a range of other hotels on island which give that small boutique offering. Jersey's just 45 miles of stunning sea views. It will steal your heart. So for anyone who hasn't been to Jersey before, I can promise you it will surprise you. And really, it's a place where you will enjoy some wonderful adventures, and the perfect spot for a romantic getaway. To add even more romantic nostalgia, why not get behind the wheel of a classic sports car, and you can see the island's country lanes and coastal drives, and just explore at your own pace. As I mentioned, it has some really romantic locations, whether it's candlelit dinners you're looking for, seafood and oysters. There's a real range of superb restaurants and cocktail bars and places to just relax and enjoy the setting. So I hope that gives you a short overview about the Jersey destination. I'm going to hand back over to Katie, who's going to finish off the presentation. But yeah, do keep Jersey in mind as a wonderful weddings and honeymoon destination.
Great, thank you, Sarah. What a fantastic destination to spend honeymoon, mini-moon or wedding. We've got plenty to offer. So for further information, we've actually put together a dedicated Jersey wedding and honeymoons guide, which can be easily downloaded in the second link that we have here. And we'll be sharing this with you shortly. So for the latest news and events, so please follow us on social media and Hablo. So thank you so much for your time today, everyone. We hope you've really enjoyed learning about Jersey's wedding and honeymoons offerings. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of the above contacts from Visit Jersey and the event shop. So I see some questions coming through. That's great. Thank you. And we'll be following up with these answers to your questions by email. So have a great day. Thank you so much, everyone.